Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to show you how to black out the badging on not only this front piece right there, but on the steering wheel and on the wheel covers as well, to black out the entire car. This is my 2020 Chevy Bolt, and I'm wanting to change these emblems and black them out. Now, the problem with just doing one is there's one on the back, there's one on each of these wheels, there's one on the steering wheel. You can see here these bow ties too, and there's the ones on the keys. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of them. So of course, this is the bow tie inside that I'm talking about, and we are not going to paint this in the car. So what we're gonna do is we're going to actually take this whole airbag off. And the first thing we need to do is rotate the wheel 180 degrees, just like so. And then we can turn the car off. Great. Now, we're gonna get under the hood. I'm gonna pull our little latch right here. Awesome. All right, we're under the hood here. As you can see, there's a little lever right here. We're gonna go ahead and pull that to the right and pull up on the hood at the same time. And this is what the inside of a Chevy Bolt engine bay looks like if you've never seen it before. Now, we have our little hood rod right here. Go ahead and grab that, put it in the necessary hole up here. All right, now you're safe. We're cooking with gas. What we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect the negative battery terminal right here. And the reason we're gonna do that is because there's capacitors in that airbag that stay charged up through this 12-volt battery. And if we don't disconnect them and leave it sitting for about 15 to 20 minutes, the airbag could blow up in our face. So if you're not comfortable with this step, please do not proceed. Now, you go to the store and get your 10 millimeter because you've lost all the rest of them. And that's what's gonna go ahead and help you disconnect this battery terminal right here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this and remove it. All right, we're loose. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off carefully, of course, and just move it off to the side. And that has started our 15 minutes. So the reason why we tilted the steering wheel this way is because up here, there's some holes that we have to stick these Allen keys into, one on each side, as you can see. So what I'm gonna do is there's these little notches in the steering wheel right here that this Allen key is kind of gonna line up to. So you're gonna see, I'm gonna put it in the hole here. And it's gonna go down quite a ways. And you see it's lined up with that. And then I'm gonna go on the other side. Let's see, get you a good angle. Go on to the other side and put my other Allen key in there. All right, and I feel it engaging right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push down on both of these. I'm gonna let you try to get you a good angle of this, of what happens. But let's see, is that good? All right, go ahead and watch. I'm gonna push down on both of these. And this is just gonna pop out, just like that. The way it works, as you can see, when this comes out, you see where our Allen keys are? They're pushing down on those little springs right there. So if I push down here, you see that one disengages. If I push down here, let me find it. You see that one disengages okay? And there's 2 down here and 1 up here. And by pushing them both at the same time, it disengages this one. So disconnecting these is a little tricky. Let's see if I can get you an angle. Not really, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use 2 of these little pick tools, and I'm gonna pull up on this one, right? But there's one on the opposite side too that we have to pull up at the same time in order to release it like this one is. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And just like that, the airbag is out and we can get it ready to paint. So with the center caps, I was able to get it out with a very, very thin butter knife. The reason you need to have it very thin is because this clearance right here isn't a whole lot, so it's not a whole lot to work with. If I were you, if you wanted to make it even better so it doesn't scratch up your rim, go ahead and sand down these little things, or you can even use like one of those shim tools too from AutoZone. So all I'm doing is I'm going around here, I'm sticking it in and angling it down and keeping pressure on this so that it stays in that area. All right, now you can see there's a little bit of a gap here. So I'm gonna go ahead and go around here and peel off, and boom, it's off. All right, so we got our center caps and we got our airbag. Let's move on to how to get this bow tie off. All right, the first thing I'm gonna do is I have a T15 here that fits perfectly into this screw. And there's 1 on each side, 1 here, and I already took the 1 out here. So you're also gonna have these 1, 2, 3, 4 clips. And I wanted to take 1 out to show to you what it kind of looks like, so what you can expect. So you can see it has a little angle there that helps it sit into that hole. So the first thing we do is pop this out. And what I'm gonna use is a hook, but you can use a flathead screwdriver or anything you want. And go in here and pop this up first and take this out. Okay, now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and use my flat piece right here to push, and you can see the flat sides are on either side are where those clips are. So we're gonna get this under here first. Okay, gonna break the seal, and then I'm gonna push on this side and pull, oh, and there it goes, flying over to my dog. And that's how you pull these clips out. So you just do the same thing on all 4 of them. Now you might have gotten past this step and been like, well, it's not coming out. Right, so you can see there's little clips that go into this front lip right here, and they just go down. You're gonna have to pull them out. There's no real way to access them, so this is kind of a brute strength thing. I pulled this one out, just pulling up on this side and going along this way. If you want to, you can use one of these tools, but I doubt that this is even gonna work. Let's see. Oh, hell yeah, it did work. So you could use one of these panel clip tools too. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other 2. Take this off. The trusty panel tool came in clutch. Barely ever use that thing because it never usually works. So now it'll just come off like that. Set that off to the side. And now you get a good view of what the back of that bow tie looks like and the hooks that are going into it. So looks like we got hooks going in every which direction here. So we're back to the trusty butter knife. This emblem is one of the harder emblems to get off. So I don't know if you see it right there. I was able to get one of them off right here. And all I did was I stuck my butter knife in here straight on and pried it, like pried it out this way. There's not really a good way to get a video of this. I could try to do it to this side. Let's see. So get the butter knife in there. I got a little bit more stuff in the way. I think I got it. Right there, you can see, I think I got it. All right, so I got all those locking tabs flipped up. Kind of see there and there. They're not underneath that piece anymore. They're off to the side. So that's how they should look. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push out on the chrome on both sides and we should be able to get this off. Let's see. All right, so I gently pushed it out and now it's out. Thank God. So you can get a better view of these little clips now and how they fit in to these guys. All right, so we got all of our gold except this back piece right here. And I'll be honest, this one we're not taking off. We're leaving this the way it is. We're gonna still paint it, but we got some things over here, some goodies. So masking tape and some drop cloth that we're gonna use. And the only one that's gonna need the drop cloth is the back one itself right here. Because this is glued on, so I don't wanna re-glue it. So we're going to do it a different way. All right, so I've gotten to this step. Put the tarp over everything. I mean, the first thing you're gonna wanna do for sure is make sure that you tape this up, all right? And then put your mask up. So what I did was I used an X-Acto knife to cut around the edges here, and you see there's a little piece here all the way around that you want to make sure is showing. That way no gold bleeds through. I went ahead and hit it with some brake cleaner and a microfiber just to clean up everything. These ridges right here inside the bow tie, they're not flat, so it's not like you could really sand it down. So just clean it up as best as you can. And this is the paint that I'm using. I'm using some Rust-Oleum wheel, high heat resistant, gloss black. But you could use any paint you want. While that's curing, I'm gonna get started on this airbag here because I wanna put this back on as soon as possible. So what I'm gonna do is tape this around and I'm gonna use my X-Acto knife. I'm probably gonna clean it beforehand, before I put the tape on, because whenever I did it, with the tape on over there, the adhesive started to come off and I had to wait for it to dry to stick it back on. So it'll probably just be easier to clean it first. All right, I've been shaking this can pretty vigorously and give it a test spray. All right, I see that it has a very wide fan, so I'm gonna be cognizant of that. I'm just gonna do a light coat, just like that, on the first round. And I'm gonna give it 5 minutes. All right, well, while I was taping that up, it's been 5 minutes, so give this a good little shake. All right. All right, that's a good second coat. Let that dry and give it 5 minutes and then we'll put on the third coat. As you can see here, I got my little outline going. Just use this, and some places I use my fingernail if you got a fingernail, but if you got a plastic pry tool like we used earlier, just kind of outline it. And now I'm gonna go in with my X-Acto knife and cut that out. As you can see, I got my little bow tie cut out. So, I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, it's not gonna be perfect. It's gonna spray on a little bit of the chrome, but this is such a small piece that I'm not really entirely too worried about it, even though this is what I'm gonna be looking at every time I drive. I'm just not too worried about it. All right, it has been another 5 minutes, and that was the perfect amount of time for me to get that masked up. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my stuff. It's already looking great. Still got that texture to it. It's just needs a few more coats. I think we're gonna put a total of 4 on here, depending on how we like it. All right. All right, I'm liking how that's looking. That's a little bit of a thicker coat. That's looking great. All right, so same thing as last time, just a really light coat. You could still see some gold shining through there, as you should. This is just to get the paint sticking, so don't need to go too heavy on this one, or else the paint will most likely peel off. All right, I just put the final 4th coat on this guy. My 5-minute timer was up, so we're gonna see how it dries. But you'd see when we spray paint it, it still holds that Chevy texture, right? And that's what we're looking for. Same thing on this one. You'd see it still has that black bow tie. So, and it's still got all that texture to it too. All right, my 5-minute timer just went off again. Looking at this, it looks pretty done. Looks like I can peel it off. So I'm gonna go ahead and peel that off, but I'm gonna move this train over there so that I don't get any overspray on my car when I peel that off. And we gotta put one more coat on here. All right, so I got the plastic peeled off. That's cool. So now I'm gonna go ahead and peel off this tape, most likely with an X-Acto knife, just to make sure I'm not doing anything bad and ripping off. This one came out right. You know, I cut around it. I didn't tuck it in to the crevices, right? However, on this guy, you can see here, I tucked it into the crevices with my little plastic tool instead of just using the X-Acto knife, and it pulled out the paint with it in some areas. Now, I mean, I probably salvaged this somehow, but it is what it is. It was my first time trying it out, but it looks pretty good from a distance. You know, whenever you're just passing by it, you're like, oh, that's a nice little bow tie. So no worries. All right, I got my front bow tie now, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this one taped up. All right, so for this guy, we're gonna try a little bit of a different strategy than that one, right? So what I did was I taped over all of it and then just kind of put down the edges so that I could find them, and then cut it with the X-Acto knife all the way around. And then what I'm gonna do is just make sure all these pieces that are flipped up like this are in here, but I'm not gonna put any of the tape into the crevices. All right, so I put a little light coat on it, just one. So did it a little bit further away from my house because the car's uncovered now, so see what this looks like. So I'm gonna put this airbag back since it's done. And what I'm gonna do is, there's these little connectors on the back of it. And of course, they correspond to the colors. So it goes in, trying to be careful with the paint. Goes in this way, clicks in that way, and these just click in, and then you put it back in there, and I'll take my Allen keys out, of course, and it just snaps in. So I went ahead and reconnected the battery, just the negative terminal right there, tightened it down with a 10mm wrench. So just gonna go ahead and check and make sure that the car is still happy. Let's just go ahead. I'm going to start it with this nut in my face, just in case. Okay. Looks like we successfully did it. Not seeing any lights. Just got the open, the close driver window, all this, and you know, the time's probably gonna be off, so we'll reset that. But yeah, that's that's that part. That's cool. So we did the airbag. Nice. I'm at the point where I'm ready to put this back on. So let's figure it out. It's probably not just gonna snap it, I'm assuming. It's gonna need some convincing. Okay, let's see what we're dealing with back here. So, looks like those tabs need to be pushed in. You can see right there. And that's what I kind of suspected was gonna happen. So I'll let you know if I could do it with my fingers. All right, y'all, so I was able to push one of these, the back pieces with my finger, the black pieces, and then with my other hand, push this in at the same time. And it's all locked in now. So next step is to put this back on. And we're just gonna go ahead and set in those clips first and foremost. Make sure, there we go. And right here, just kind of, see what's going on here. There we go. All right, so those are in now. All right, and we're gonna pop these pieces in right here. Go ahead, just grab one of these like this, pop it in. Might take some resistance, there we go. And then we grab one of these pieces, and these face the same direction, so it doesn't matter which way you put it in as long as it goes in sideways. There we go. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that to the other three. The last step in all this is putting those two screws back. What do you have to say? Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyways, so again, T15, these just screw back in, just like any other screw. I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. So put those screws in, and all we gotta do is close the hood, and then do that. All right, go ahead and close it. And let's look at the final product, right? So we got the blacked out badging up here. Got the blacked out badging on the rims down here. I did all four. That's how it looks. It looks a lot better, you know, than the blacked out badging back here, of course. Down here. Down here. All right. And then finally, the steering wheel. I'll go ahead and check that out real quick. Get these tools out of my way. I'll also put these mats in. I really like them. I'll put the link in the description. And finally, the thing I'm gonna be looking at every single day as I'm driving down the road. Can't miss those details, you know? I decided I'm just gonna put the cover on the keys, and because I tried cutting them out and they just weren't coming out right. So that is it though. That is my 2020 Chevy Bolt. Got it tinted too, 20%. So it's looking good.